Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh. How's that for a new opening? Is that incredible? Yay. Thank you, Don. My husband wrote that. And thank you, Bill Sinkay, for being the great announcer that you are. That was so much fun. So, hi, everybody. I've missed every one of you. I feel like a Kenny Loggins song. I missed every single one of you, and I'm so happy to be back. And thank you for your kind words and your emails and your texts and your iMessages and your Facebook things. I so appreciate that. It has been a lot of change. Now, do you remember, like for a year, I've been talking about all the change we were going to have, of which we have. I just didn't think it was going to affect me for some reason. And boy, was I wrong. It has affected me. It did affect me. So I want to talk a little bit about change and then we'll get into everything else. But first, before we start, let's see. First place I want to start is I really want to thank John Williams. John Williams has been terrific. He was terrific to work with, and I miss him, and I wish him well on his new journey. So John is no longer with us, but I have a new producer, and his name is Renee. And Renee also works with Deepak Chopra and also with James Van Praagh. And so he's been doing James's Monday show, the Soul Care, and he's also been doing the every other Friday, and I hop on with James every other Friday. We do a mediumship and psychic readings, and so Renee's been wonderful and helping us with that. And so he is helping me today and is my new producer for the show Ask Me Anything. So that was a big change. So that's the first change. Got a couple more. Second change is, and I can't talk about all of this yet, but we have a big announcement. I'll make the announcement next Thursday about the next big thing that we have coming up. And I'll say this, that Shirley is taking a break. That was another big change for me. Shirley's and I are still going to teach. We're going to be teaching our class. We've got Bad Dads coming up. We've got a lot of classes and courses that are coming up on webinars that we'll still do. And Shirley will be on the show with me, not this show, but our Monday show, probably once a month, as she can be on. But I have a surprise host, and we are going to be announcing this in about a week. So this is all very exciting thing. And the third thing is I got a new dog, Charlotte. She's our new dog now. So I'm really excited about that. But all of this change came on, all at once. So when I took it in all at once, it took me a while to process all of it. As much as I'm very good usually at pivoting and being able to move forward. And it's funny because Tammy Hendricks and I were talking recently about pivoting and being able to move forward. And but I also like to process things and take a break. So this is what I was doing when all of this was on. Oh, Ardella, so sweet. Good morning from South Australia. I'm at work and changed my meeting time so I could be here. Thank you, honey. You've been so sweet. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. My goodness. And I really appreciate everybody that's been so good to me during this period of time. Really, I can't thank you all enough. So I wanted to thank everybody for that. And I was curious if anybody out there had watched Saturday Night Live this last Saturday, because it was hysterical. If you didn't see it, it was hysterical. And what was so funny about it was that there was one of the skits was when 4 people go to visit a psychic for a psychic reading in the year 2019. And of course, the readings are like hysterical because you can't fathom or process 2020. You can't fathom it. And that medium or that psychic, I swear to you, it must have been based on my character on some level here, because it was me telling everybody about 2020, that it was going to be insane. I couldn't have imagined this kind of everything that was going on in 2020. I couldn't imagine it. And yet here we are in 2020. And it is quite a time, right? Quite a time. And I am going to talk about the astrology because everybody sent me some great questions. And of course, we're going to start with the astrology. But even before I get to the astrology, I do want to talk about something that is important because the astrology is going to be dramatic. So I want to talk about something that's very important here. And I think you guys can all appreciate what I'm about to say. But when we are souls on the other side, our souls are on the other side, and we're trying to figure out what do we want to do in this life? What do we want to do? We come to this earth plane, we come to this earth school to learn all kinds of different things. We might come to learn love. And so if we choose love as our major, if you will, in this earth school, we would probably have all kinds of things that were not love. So we could understand, oh, that's not love, this is love. So, or we might take on, say, responsibility. I think I took that one on. So we would have a lot of things that we'd have to be responsible for. We might take on wisdom. So you would have some pretty deep lessons to learn about wisdom if you're going to have a wisdom as your major. And you might take on faith. There are a lot of topics that you would take on as a soul. Okay. So that's as an individual soul. Each individual soul comes in to take on something. But as a collective of souls, there are many of us light workers. And light workers are souls that came in to bring light to the planet. They're the ones that are often, very spiritual or very kind or very empathic. And most of them know they're light workers. And as a collective of souls, and I'm going to use the term light workers as a collective of them, we came to bring calmness to this dimension at this particular time, literally at this time. And on the higher realms, it's a natural state to be in a calmness energy. The energy is of calmness and peace and love and harmony. It really is that energy. The moment we come to this dimension, this realm, this earth school, the energy is very turbulent. The energy here. So we're born often into turbulent energy. And some of us, and you'll know the ones I'm talking about, some of us are pretty calm regardless. And some of us really have trouble with energy. They're the kids that had trouble, people that felt things deeply. But having said that, the energy here now is even more unstable than it has been. And so I want people to remember as I'm going through the astrology report, because I'm going to go through it, that now is the time to stay as calm as you can. And a good way to stay calm and focus no matter what, even though we're going to see a lot of drama things coming up, a good way to calm is to connect to your higher self. So your higher self is in a higher realm. We're a little tiny bit of our higher self. Our higher self is the one that knows, it has the wisdom and the love and the compassion. And you want to bring that into your heart. So you want to talk to your higher self and bring it right into your heart. And that's going to, and really steady it and anchor it in your heart. Because that's going to keep you calm during some tumultuous times here that we have coming up. But remember, particularly light workers, you wanted to be here. Everybody wanted to be here during this time. Our souls are going to grow at such a high rate. We're going to learn so much about ourselves, about others. We're going to learn a lot. And it's going to be quite a ride here. Again, I used to say, I still say, it's an e-ticket to Disneyland. If you remember e-tickets back in the day, way back in the day, they were like the Matterhorn ride. So think like that. It's like the Matterhorn ride. Yeah, it's going to be intense. And I really want to say, don't let emotions get the best of you. Just don't. It's not worth it. You don't need to go into that fight or flight place of trauma. Okay. Try to stay in balance. Okay. Think smooth. Don's not going to like this. Think smooth jazz. I think the musicians out there are going to kill me for saying that, but just keep as calm as you possibly can. Okay. So I did want to talk about that. Alrighty, let's go into some astrology, shall we? Because I know a lot of you are dying to know what is going on. So this is going to be a dramatic month. November is going to be dramatic. Let's start with first where we are. We're coming up to a full moon on Halloween, October 31st, 2020, a full moon in Taurus. Now, the last time there was and it's a blue moon. So a blue moon is when a full moon occurs twice in 1 month. So the first one was October 1st, and now we're at October 31st with a full moon. And the last time was 1944. So it's really rare that it's a full moon on Halloween, which is kind of interesting because I don't think anybody can really go trick or treating or anything right now. So, as my daughter would say, what a waste. But it's pretty interesting. But this is a full moon in Taurus. Full moon in Taurus. Taurus is the objective truth. What is the truth that's going on? Taurus is physical. What is the truth that's going on here? It's at this full moon on Halloween is almost at an exact conjunction. I think it is an exact conjunction, which means next to Uranus. And Uranus is the planet of change and revolution. And Uranus is retrograde. And this is a very, very intense time. I mean, it's going to be a very intense time that we're going to have here. And this is, I would say, the complete unexpected for that election that's coming up. And it's going to be, it's like, how do I say this? Somehow our eyes get opened up a lot in the next few days here. It just will happen. Uranus brings us clarity, impartiality, objective, and Taurus is anchored in physical reality. So it's going to be a very intense time because turning something immaterial into something material. It's going to be a very, very intense. And Uranus, again, is the planet of surprise. Here we go. All of a sudden, things have taken another turn. And also, during this time, the reoccurring theme is going to be in relationships. So you may have some surprises in relationships with people during this time. Also, so this is just the beginning. So that kind of sets the stage as this full moon with the conjuncting Uranus. But also on November 2nd, well, let me just say this. The veil is as close as it comes to this dimension. The veil is almost open. I mean, it's not open, but it's very thin, as they say on Halloween, between this side and the other side, and also on November 1st, which is All Souls Day. And the veil's very thin, so you may get messages from the other side much easier. You may have dreams. Pay attention. They're out there. The other side really wants to help us right now so much. So just know that that's out there for us too. And November in numerology, and this is the way I do it, November for the whole month is a 33 month. It's very rare. November is an 11, and 2020 is a 22 in my book. So it makes it a total of a 33 month. Some people may view it as a 6 month, but I view it as a 33 month, which brings in more power of teaching, building, teaching, power. It's going to be a powerful, powerful month. I mean, we know that we're going to have an election. Powerhouse time. Then on November 2nd, which is really interesting, we have a comet that comes extremely close to the United States. I'm sorry, to the United States. Well, that was probably a slip. To the Earth. Yeah, it probably does come. Wouldn't that be funny? Here we go. Kaboom. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's going to come very close. And this eclipse or this celestial object, this comet, is called the VP1. Now, does that portend something? Does that mean that it's comets and asteroids are actually a symbol of something that is going to happen? And it can mean things in the extreme. And it's coming to bring change. I think it's interesting that it's called the VP because it makes me think of a vice president. Does this portend that a vice president would be the president? I don't know. I truly don't know. If I did, I would tell you. I really don't know. But I do know we're going to have some major, major situations coming up. Additionally, Mercury is still retrograde until November 3rd. November 3rd is the election. Now, what's going to make that tough about that is Mercury shifts direction on that day. So it's been retrograde and now it's going to go direct, but it's going to shift on that day. And that is going to make voting like insane. I'm not telling anybody something new probably, but I have been saying this for months and months and months. And the last time this happened was in the year 2000 with Bush and Gore. And so you remember it went to, I think Gore won, and then it went to Bush. We were all like, what? Okay, so it's something like that is going to happen in this election. You might think one person, and guess what? It's the other one. It's like the giant switcheroo. It's going to be a real turning point in our lives here. And on top of that, it's like, there's more? Yep. On top of that, Mars is still retrograde until November 14th. And on November 14th, that changes direction again from retrograde to going direct in Aries. Aries is the planet of war. Aries is intense. And I think that on that day, and maybe a few days even before, I think we're going to see a lot of protests. I think we're going to see protests beyond. I think it's just going to be a very, very intense time. I mean, dramatic, intense time. And this is what I was saying before. Make sure you're in a Zen place. You might think, how in the world am I going to be Zen? I don't know. I live on a farm now, so I'm going to be as Zen as I can possibly be. Because I will say this, we all get through all of these times that I'm talking about. We wanted to be here during that time. It's the best time, frankly, to practice being calm. It's actually a great time for that. We're all going to learn a lot. So in a sense, it's a very exciting time. But that wasn't enough because on November 12th, oh my God, like constant. On November 12th, we have Jupiter and Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. Now, this is what they call heaven meets hell. It's kind of strange, but Jupiter is almost like with God. It's like in mythology, Jupiter, and Pluto is like Hades, or hell. And Pluto rules the underworld, and Jupiter rules the heavens. So and they are at a conjunction, which means they're next to each other for the third time this year. First time I think was in April. I think the second time was in August, and now we have it. The final go around is November 12th. That is going to be death, rebirth, transformation. A very intense time. So let me just tell you a little bit about that, okay? In 1981, the same thing happened, only it was in Libra. Now remember, this time it's in Capricorn, and Capricorn rules government, karma, things like this. In 1981, there was the HIV outbreak during this conjunction. 1918 was the flu pandemic. And I could go back and back and back. There are like 10 major events of illness that occurred during this. So I can say that during this time, I believe that the pandemic gets worse, actually, before it gets better, but it gets worse. But let me tell you that throughout history, whenever this conjunction occurs, it brings with it this healing aspect. It brings scientific breakthroughs. Okay, actually, the microscope was discovered during one of these conjunctions. It's such a powerful time that brings us to it brings us like through up and out, and it will bring us through these very tough times that we're having and that I believe we're going to continue to have. I've been asked over and over when this is going to, I don't know, gets it back to normal. It's a funny question to ask, I suppose. And I want to say I see things getting much better in April, and they will get better. This will turn around, and the economy's going to come back. It's going to be better than ever. All of these things are going to happen. It's just getting through this part. Okay. And so just knowing that it's going to be okay. I really feel like that's my role to tell everybody it's going to be okay. I kind of want to show you what's going on, but I want to tell you you're going to be okay. I'm sure my role on the other side is to say, oh no, yeah, you're going to go, you're going to have quite a time. What does that mean? Oh, it means that you're going to be having experiences. Well, what does that mean? Well, we're about ready to find out. But I will tell you, we get through this. We all get through this, and a lot of blessings come out of this. And on November 30th, we have we go into eclipse season. And because this is not enough. And we have a full moon lunar eclipse, and that's in Gemini. And when we get closer, in the next couple of weeks, I'll be talking more about that. We also have another eclipse on December 14th, solar eclipse. And this all brings this year to kind of a cataclysmic ending. It's going to be very intense. And we get into January, which is still intense because then we have the inauguration. And really, right now, it is just a very intense time with everything. So just, if you can, just relax. Know that it's going to be okay. Try to use this time for yourself to whatever comes up, use it to investigate yourself, as Dr. Shirley would say, oh, why am I feeling this way? What is this feeling coming up for? What is it teaching me? What is it showing me? What do I need to work on? Think of it like that. Think of it like, how do you want to be? Because we're in a time of transformation. How do you want your life to be? What do you want to do with your life? This is the greatest time of all to make the biggest changes that you'll probably ever make in your life. You want to help people, begin to do it now. Ask yourself what you came in to do in this lifetime. I think all of these things are going to be so important as we go forward. Okay? So I wanted to talk a little bit about the astrology. I think that kind of says a few things here. Oh, Neptune goes direct on November 28th. So again, Neptune is dreamy planet, only it also has a lot of secrets underneath that. And when that goes direct, I would guess on November 28th and going forward that a lot of things that we find out in the world, all of a sudden we start finding things out. So I think we're going to have some interesting times ahead. So, any questions? You can certainly, let's see, sounds like a crazy month from Heather. Yes, it does. Oh no, Kathleen Lasso, don't worry every day. Remember, just get into your higher self, bring your higher self in, put it into your heart, connect with your higher self. Take a lot of deep breaths. Imagine your higher self is just giving you this big hug. Higher self knows that you all get through this, okay? Be kind, as Tracy said. Lindsay Wallace says, do you have a different process for psychic readings as opposed to mediumship readings? I do. Well, it all kind of comes together for me, Lindsay. It's a great question. Thanks for asking. For psychic readings, what I do is as soon as I get the birth date, for some reason that for me just kind of opens it up. For some reason it just does, and then I'm just off to the races, as James would say. Um, let's see. Worry is a waste of time, Mario. I agree with that. How do you receive your divine messages? Lindsay says through your guide, the sitters, guides, etc. What's your process? Great question. So what Lindsay's asking is when I sit, the sitter is the person that comes to me for a reading. So when people come for me at a reading, now again, I only do Zoom. I don't do in person anymore. I have an office in Beverly Hills. Don't use it. Clearly, what a shame. But what happens is I sit with somebody and I feel the energy start to come through. I just feel the energy. I just am literally sitting in this energy, and I could feel like a quickening of the energy. And all of a sudden, first, whoever has passed away starts to come through that I need to talk to them or they need messages out. Then through the guides, then through the sitter's guide, the person that comes to me for a reading, sometimes their guides tell me, in fact, often their guides tell me things. Oh my gosh, like personal things. and then I work through it. I also bring in a lot of psychotherapy with me when I do this, because sometimes these messages, you want to be, mindful when you give somebody some deep messages here. So you want to be really mindful of that. But that's my process. I'm not sure what everybody else's process is, but that's my process. And a session with me is about 50 minutes. So I bring in a lot of things, and there's time to ask questions and a time to process. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Diane. I try to do explaining of things. And I do want to soothe everybody's souls, because November 12th, Holly said, what did I say about November 12th? I said that there is a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction that day. And that is a very intense time. It's the third one for the year, and it's going to be intense. So I wanted to answer a question that I thought was, you guys wrote such great questions, and I so appreciate this. And one of the questions I had to answer, because I thought it was such a good question, and it was, what is the difference between a soul and a spirit? And I think that was Susan Randolph. And Susan, I really want to thank you for asking that question. It's a great question. So Susan Randolph asks, what is the difference between a soul and a spirit? Are they the same? No, they're not the same. I used to think that a long time ago, but they're not the same. So a soul is our non-physical energy of consciousness, and it's housed in our body. So should I repeat that? Our soul it's non-physical, and it's energy, and it's consciousness, and it's housed in our body. And our soul comes in and chooses this body. All right, we'll come in this time. And then has an experience, and then goes back home to the other side, to the higher realms. And the same soul that's learned all kinds of things, as I talked about earlier, love, or I don't know, whatever they wanted to learn. Whatever. It's a big classroom here. It chooses another body to come back in, but it's the same soul. The soul is just growing and growing and growing in consciousness. Okay. It's different than and the soul is a vehicle that travels through time and space. So our soul's eternal soul comes, goes, it comes, it goes. The spirit is energy that is different. Spirit is God, basically energy, and that comes in and brings us love and wisdom and bliss, and that inspiration. That's the spirit coming in, and it just kind of takes over. The spirit just comes in, and it's like the day you get real motivated to do something. That's like that spirit. That spirit comes through you, and so it's different. The soul is the constant, and that's changing, and the spirit is, I believe, is my belief, straight from God, straight from that energy. Whew, and here we go, the spirit, and that's my take on it. So you may have heard other explanations, but that was a great question, and I appreciate the question. frankly. So thank you for that one. So let's see what else. Oh, and also we have a winner from Bad Dads, but don't let me forget that. Renee, don't let me forget that one before I'll announce that in the end because I don't want to forget that. So all these questions were great, and I so appreciate um, that. So Julie asked. She said, "Hello, I was wondering." This is Julie West. Was wondering when places are haunted, is that some spirits stay? What let me see. Why is it that some spirits stay and think they still belong in that place? That's such a good question. I'll tell you why. Because they're personality disorders. Seriously. I mean, think who's going to just hang around? You got a personality disorder. They're either a narcissist, they're stuck, or they had a lot of trauma and they stay. And let me tell you what, on the other side, they come to these souls and they're like, come on, let's go. It's kind of like my dog Otis. I can't get him in. I can't get him in the house. It's 30 below. I can't get him in. He's so stubborn. It's like these souls are just either so traumatized or so stuck. They'll eventually come. Just know that. Eventually, spirit has a way of moving them on. But some actually let's say they love their homes. You know how you have people that live in a home and they're never going to leave? Well, guess what? They never leave. So you want to practice non-attachment to things, to people and to things. Of course, you want to love with all your heart, and it's okay to let go also. So these are kind of things you want to practice, and clearly these ghosts didn't practice that because they're personality disorders. That's my take on ghosts. Um, so people have asked me, am I afraid of ghosts? No, they just bug me. No, I'm not. So anyway, let's see. So Jane Grossman asked, wondering if the new Supreme Court justice will be impacted by Mercury retrograde energies that we're in the middle of. Possibly, possibly. Yeah, I know that she was just put on, is now on the Supreme Court. Could things strangely change? You bet. You bet. I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't even know why I'm saying that. But Mercury retrograde is a time where things that you sign during this time, there could be big changes because Mercury rules a lot of legal issues, actually. A lot of issues, a lot of signing of papers, a lot of agreements. So is that a possibility? You betcha. So Anna Kashper says, when can we expect for COVID relief, as in getting control of the virus and returning back to somewhat normal? Again, I'm going to say we're going to find there will be a vaccine for this. Absolutely, there will be. And do I see it coming up soon? I know some people have said November. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm going to say April, March, April, but really probably closer to April is when I see things getting better and coming out there. And Tracy says, what's the coming year look like for Scorpios? Well, we are in Scorpio season right now. And I'm going to say that Scorpios going forward are going to be dealing with, for the year, with their deep, deep, deep emotions. Scorpios feel they're deep. And I think that for the year, it's going to be about asking yourself, why did you come in with so many emotions? What are you dealing with? And actually really looking at your life. That's what I think. Okay, so what else did I have? What I'm trying to think. Oops, I know I have other questions here. Oh, Lori asked me. Lori, let me see, Lutterby. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but she asked me, when someone has dementia, do they choose that on the other side, basically? Why would they choose that? Yes, we choose these big ticket items, and of course, dementia, Alzheimer's would be one of those. And why would we choose that? I'll tell you why. To teach other people patience, to teach us patience, to teach us maybe we can't control everything. Um, There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. So just know that, yes, we do choose these kind of things. So you might think, um, yes, that we do. We choose all of these things. So, and it's a good question because again, people would think, why do we, so Carolyn says, does our soul go out when we astral travel? We're connected with I almost said a string, like a silver cord. So we can go all over the place and we're still going to come back into the body. So yes, our soul does go out when we astral travel. And it's a great question. And astral projection is, and if it's happened to anybody, let me know because it's really an interesting thing. All of a sudden, and it can happen during the day, it can happen often before we go to sleep, it happens while you're asleep, but you can remember it the most is if it happens when you are just about falling asleep. And I know I had this experience twice, and it's my soul literally just, I looked up, I don't even know how it happened, and I had left my body, and I was at the at the top of my ceiling, um, and I knew at that exact moment I hadn't planned on it. It just spontaneously happened. I didn't even know what astral projection was. And I remember looking around and thinking, wow, I could be anywhere at any time. It was very freeing. And I think that spirit, again, spirit wanted me to have this experience, so I would know that the soul is can leave and come back, and the soul is not. It woke me up to spirituality. It did. It showed me a whole different frame. Talk about a new frame. That was kind of a shock. I was 20 when that happened. So great question. I appreciate that. Um, let's see. Am I still going to do bad siblings? Yes, we are, Ardelia. Thank you for asking. We're going to do bad dads on November. Renee, what do we have the date on that? Um, oh, here we go. Oh, and please call in if you have any questions that I can answer. Oh, when father didn't know best. Thank you, Carissa. I love that. When father didn't know best. It's November 14th. And we have a winner for who gets a gift. The gift is you get to take this class for no cost. We're giving this to you. And it's going to be with Dr. Shirley and Pellizzeri and me on November 14th. And Connie Fogel, you won the prize for this one. And we all agreed that we loved that it was choose your favorite memory for Thanksgiving, basically. And you said that you loved making pies at your family gatherings. And we all, Carissa and I really were just like, oh, I so love that. That's so true. So, and everybody, thanks for writing in. I have really appreciation for that. We'll have another one, one of these giveaways too, when we do the next Bad Siblings, and I forget the other ones that we have coming up. Also, Prajna Avalon and I are going to be teaching a class. I think I have to look at the exact date. My gosh, I think it's the first week in December, and it's going to be on Lumeria and Atlantis. So that ought to be really exciting. And we have not posted that yet, but we are going to. And there was somebody that I did want to make a shout out to, a Jennifer Verellen Higgins. And she lives on a farm like me. I don't know where her farm is, but she doesn't have internet. I have internet. Thank you, Don. I have internet. And she wanted a little reading here. So I was going to tell you her birthday is February 12th, 1976. And Jennifer, you are a king of diamonds, which means you think like a man in there. You're a man inside of that brain. And also, it's very important you value certain things, which is very important. And in this lifetime, you're at number 10 in numerology, and a 10 comes in. Anybody that's a 10 comes in to learn about themselves. They want to come. So I would say that you are somebody that needs to learn everything you can about yourself and watch your power, because you are a powerhouse gal. I'm going to say that. So yeah, congratulations, Connie, for that. Um, and how did we enter the contest? It was on Facebook. It was on Facebook. So just wanted everybody to know that. And so Lizette, hi Lizette, so sweet. She's a wonderful artist too. She said, I astral project in my dreams to the planets. Is this the same? It is the same. You betcha, it's the same. Astral projecting while you're asleep, you may not remember. Maybe you do remember. Maybe you thought you remembered, I was here, I was there. And what's so cool about in the dream state is you will come back with these amazing creative thoughts or ideas. And I know the art that you do, Lizette, is really incredible. And it's a possibility that you're getting and receiving a lot of your insights from astral projecting at night. It's, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's very cool. So, and Tam, I want to answer this. Tam Wilkinson asked me a question, and she said, how do I determine the card? So when I talk about destiny cards, it's actually called the destiny cards, I think. And every birth date relates to a different card. So you are either a diamond. A diamond is somebody that comes in this lifetime with their values. Certain values are important. It could be money. It could be just anything you value, of value. Hearts come in for dealing with emotion. Clubs, I'm a club, comes in to learn everything. We have to learn everything. And spades come in almost with more difficult life paths because they're the oldest souls. They're very old souls, and they come in to learn and take on life lessons of wisdom. So that's how I delineate all of that. It's a system that was designed, I don't know, a couple hundred years ago, long time ago. So I think it's a powerful system, and it's one that I use. So Lindsay says, what? Am I hiring? Oh, not right now. I'm not, honey, but that's so sweet. Thank you so much for asking. If I am, I'll let you know. So let me see. Holly says November 12th, 1962. Oh, your year, this year, your birthday is November 12th? Oh, no wonder. Oh, you want. I think it was you that wanted to know what goes on that day. That's a Jupiter Pluto conjunction. Oh, honey, that's a big one for you. I would say that this year alone, your life changes in a great way. You're right smack in that November that we're talking about, but actually, your birth date is on a conjunction. I would think that that's going to give you giant breakthroughs in this lifetime, in going forward. And 1962, let me just hold on a second. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 45. So you would come into, as a 5, if I did this correctly, quickly, you'd come in to explore and learn change pretty quickly. And you're a true Scorpio in Vedic or in Western. And I would say this is going to bring you a year of deep change going forward. And really an exciting year for you. So thank you very much for that. So Heather says her birthday is June 7th, and she says she thinks she's a club on June 7th. I can't remember. Hold on, let me check. No, I didn't think so. June 7th. Is that right? June 7th? No, that's a 10 of diamonds, honey. And that's yeah, that is June 7th, not 7/6. I think it's June 7th. And June 7. Yeah, June 7 is a 10 of diamonds. And that is somebody that is actually very blessed. They come in with a very blessed, doesn't mean that you had an easy life, but it means that by any stretch. Often I see a lot of therapists with that one, and people that, Martha Stewart is a 10 of diamonds, people that are very structured, sometimes have trouble with love, but always ultimately ends up having an incredible life. So thanks for saying that. So Candace Ketty Duns. I love that name. On November 11th, again, these November birth dates, November 11th is a 9 of clubs, and a 9 of clubs comes to complete something in this lifetime. They come to complete something. Doesn't mean anytime I see a 9, I know that they've no way had an easy life. And they do also come to partnership. So not everybody comes in to have a partnership, but they actually do. And also I would say that you would probably know everything about everything. So really, yeah, I would say holy moly, Candace, because that's a very powerful date that for this year. A lot of 1962 people, huh? That's good to see. Um, so, does anybody want to call in, or they just want me to? Okay, how do I find out if you are a heart, Ardelia? Give me your birthday, Ardelia. Write it, put it up here, and I'll let you know because I don't remember your birthday off the top of my head. Um, so let's see. Um, Jeannie Heil says on she's March 19th, 1957. That's me. Yay, 1957. Um, March 19th. Hold on a second. So March 19th is a four of diamonds. So a four of diamonds is like a Ford truck. You do come in to learn and to have spirituality. So you would have already taken place. You would probably already be very spiritual. I'm going to guess if you're watching this show, I'm going to guess that you are. You do come into stability is very important to you. Stability, working hard, and spirituality. So kind of a life theme here. So let's see. This is kind of fun. Um, let's see. Okay. Oh, Bonnie, her birthday is on October 28th, yesterday. Happy birthday, honey. That is one of my favorite days in the whole world, October 28th. I had a best friend growing up, and that was her birthday. And it was always like, I'm from LA, but it was always like fall on that day and getting ready for Halloween. I just love that day. Anyway, that's a Seven of Hearts. And Seven of Hearts comes in with not an easy life path because it's about emotions, it's about dealing with emotions and business. It's kind of like both emotions and business, emotions and business. And ultimately, here to have faith. Actually, ultimately, to have faith. So, hi, Curtis. How you doing, honey? And Curtis, and he is a true Scorpio, 1118, 1118. And that is a two of clubs. So you're a club, and a two of clubs is here. They call it the friendship card to actually develop relationships. Relationships are important here. And yeah, relationships, about relationships. So that's always a good thing. So Kathy Wood Rayhan, I think, December 24th. Well, that's coming up. And that is also, that's what I thought. It was also a Seven of Hearts. So anytime a Seven of Hearts again is somebody that would have sacrificed a lot in this life. They would have had some trust issues with the opposite sex or in relationships, I should say. And then recovered from all of that. I bet
And,
you learned
and Kelly,
you need to learn. Uh-huh.
we have some
Oh,
callers on the line.
oh,
If
well,
you
let's
want
take
to
some.
take one, yeah.
Absolutely. You
All
betcha.
right.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna unmute you now.
Okay.
So go ahead and
Hello.
there you go.
Hello. Hello. Who's this?
Hi.
Hi.
This is Cece speaking. How are you?
Hi, Cece. I'm fine, honey. How are you?
Good. I'm calling from Wi-Fi, so you might have a little bit of breaking up. I'm sorry about that.
That's all
But
right, Cece. How
I
can I
would
help
like,
you?
yeah, yes, I would like to know. I've been waiting for my house to be sold
Hmm.
for 2 years now, I think, and finally I have an offer. And since the Mercury retrograde, I have a lot of problems, with little
Yeah.
thing, little inspection, and all kind of stuff. I want to know that, um, am I going to be able to close on November 5th?
It's going to be real close. You might have a little setback, just a little setback,
Yes.
but it will still close. I don't know if it's going to be exactly November 5th because I'll tell you why. That is you are going to close the house, but that day particularly, that whole week, I want you to do this. I want you to start talking to your higher self and staying as calm as you can about this, okay? And
Okay.
I just start talking to your higher self about this is going to close, this is going to close, and I want you to be in a real zen place if you can. during this period of time. I believe it's going to close. It may not be exactly on that day, maybe a couple days in between, going a little further, but it will close, honey. It'll close.
Okay. I
You've worked
was
really hard at selling
hoping
this house.
to move.
You're going to move. You're going to move because this is a time of great change. It just is. And you were about to make
Yeah,
this great
because
change.
okay. I'll let you know next week.
Let me know, honey. Let me know. But we're all praying for you. I know how hard that
Thank
is.
you.
Don't worry.
Yes, because I do have the lawsuit problem because right now I have some lawsuit with my neighbors, which is their
That's
file,
right. So you
and
have
they
to get,
put
yeah.
the
That's why I was saying talk to
the
your
lien
higher
off
self.
the property.
Stay in a real zen place, honey. And let the universe
Okay.
do its magic here. Okay. It's a great time for magic.
Okay. All right. I have one more question about the
Okay.
dreams. If you dream about crystal, what does that mean?
If you dream about crystals that you have,
Yes, like
well,
I always going somewhere and find like many crystal, different colors, red, purple, pink.
ooh.
I look it up, but it's
Mhm.
not nowhere on internet that can tell me what does that mean.
Well, in a dream, you're talking about in a dream. So then
Yes.
if it's, let's say it's a rose quartz, then you would look up rose
Uh,
quartz and it would tell you about love. Or if it's a citrine, it might tell you about a past life. Or if it's it depends on what color it is. Just Google that and come up with the spiritual meaning of it's a message. It's definitely some message for you.
okay.
Okay. Thanks for calling very
Oh,
much, Cece.
okay.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
You
Okay.
bet.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
honey.
okay. We have a next caller, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. How can
Hi,
I
can you
help
hear me?
you? Yeah, I can.
Hey. Okay,
Hi.
so this is probably a question that requires a very long-winded answer, but if you could kind of help me explain a little bit this 3D to 5D ascension, and in addition, what's the best way to tell as somebody with chronic health issues when you're having ascension symptoms versus when you're having actual crappy health day?
Well, you're right. That's a long-winded question. So really what you're asking,
Yeah,
how are we, what does it mean to go from the third dimension to the fifth dimension? Is that what you're,
right.
in
I
this
have a basic
ascension?
understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't really understand how is there a definitive date? Is the planet splitting in two? Are we just
Yeah,
kind of
no,
like
planet's not
gradually
splitting it.
moving over? Are
No,
we, you know?
it would be a gradual process of raising the vibration of the planet. It's a gradual process. And I don't think it happens like in a blink of an eye. I think that we're having this big ticket, if you will, experience right now that actually ultimately is here to raise the vibration of the planet. And I think all of that helps move us to the next higher frequency, really is what you're talking about, the next higher frequency.
Yeah.
And as far as what you talked about with ascension physicalities, right? Things where you're not feeling well or
Uh-huh.
that. So often what happens when your vibration begins to rise. So how does your vibration, we all have a vibration, and how does it start to rise? It's all of a sudden spirituality starts to come in. You start feeling things, it's feeling things. And when your vibration starts to rise, things begin to go haywire. It can affect your physical. You may get sick. You might get headaches all the time. You might get sleepy all the time. I think when I went through this awakening process, I slept a lot. I really did. I slept a lot. I was
Yeah.
tired all the
Yeah.
time. You might have you just feel sick all the time, especially if you're really empathic. If you're really empathic, that's
Yeah.
what I often say to anybody that's going through this type of situation. It's great to detox, meaning to take a bath with what is it with kosher salt and vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and baking soda. That's really good. And maybe or some
Mhm.
lavender, something like that. Anything that just kind of starts to clear you out and raise your vibration. You want to be as grounded as possible. So you want to take your shoes off and walk in the ground and get grounded and visualize tree trunks coming out of your feet. So you want to be very grounded in the body. So that's really important. You want to drink a lot of water, a lot of vitamin C. You want to eat very, very healthy. I mean, often people during something like this go into a vegan diet, actually. So how do I
Yeah,
tell the
already
symptoms
there.
between ascension and what was the other part of that? Or just regular crap?
Yeah, I also have chronic health issues. Which,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I have
when
chronic health issues, which I think started when my awakening started about 8 years ago, and so it's kind of been a struggle. And then sometimes I wonder, am I having a physical health issue, or is this some ascension symptoms?
well,
I hear
could
the
be
Morse
both.
code typing in my ear, and
Yeah, it could be both, honey. I just take really whatever, either way, you want to take the best care of your vehicle, and the vehicle is your body. You want to take the best possible care of it so that you can bring in all of the special energies of your vibration that needs to come in, okay? So what is your birth date?
yeah, thank you. 9/24/69.
Oh, okay, 9/24. Yeah. And that's a very psychic birth date too. So, yeah, I would say
Yeah,
take care of
I
yourself.
am
You're
in
used to
development.
Yeah, good, because you're used to taking care of others, and this is a time to take care of yourself. Thank you for calling. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. Renee, we have time for one more.
Okay. So then we have, let me see, Celeste. Celeste, go ahead. You're live in the show now.
Hi, Celeste.
Hello.
How you
Hi,
doing,
Kelly.
honey?
So happy to see you. I'm
Yay.
doing awesome.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. My birthday's 4/29/56,
Okay.
but my daughter's moving out of state, and when I was over visiting her, I just felt like I'm going. I'm going too, not with her, but does that seem like that's something that's coming up for me? A
I
big
tell you
move?
what, I have chills. It could. I'll tell you
Me
why.
too.
You're a five of clubs. Five of clubs needs freedom. They got to move.
Yes.
They got to move.
I do. I'm in that situation. And when she told me that, I told her, I'm crying because this is my girl. But I go, I'm so excited for you. And then I'm sitting there going, I'm moving. And I called my significant other and I'm going, I'm moving to Idaho. You coming with me? He's going, yeah, let's go. But I'm thinking not till March or April.
Yeah,
I
don't do
prefer
anything
it because
until
I need
March
to
or
bring,
April. I would agree with that statement.
right.
Yeah, it's just going to be
Yeah,
too crazy right now, I think,
right.
to make a big move like
But that
that.
seems like a good move for me.
Excellent move. Excellent move. Yeah.
Awesome.
Where are you
Yeah.
currently
And
living?
I'm living in Northern California,
Oh, yeah.
near Sacramento.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect move.
So yeah, I'm
Great
ready
move
to
for
get
you.
out of California.
I
And I'm also
understand.
waiting because I'm looking at my plants and going, those I cannot leave, and I don't want to bring them anywhere in the winter either. So
Right.
it hit me maybe March or April. So.
Well, it's
I'm
so
so
great.
happy you're back.
Oh, thank you, Celeste. I'm so happy to be back. I so appreciate that. I really appreciate everybody that was so patient and asked me, what's happening and why is this happening? And I'll be back every week. So ask me anything. You
Good.
can ask me psychological questions, spiritual questions, food related questions. I was a chef, so give me your ingredients and I'll help you
Okay.
whip something up. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Thanks,
Thank
honey.
you so much. Love you.
Love you
Bye-bye.
too. Thank you. Well, Renee.
That was great. What a great questions and a great conversation.
Yeah, so super. And I want to remind everybody that on November 17th, no, we talked about this earlier. On November 14th, we have Dr. Shirley and I are doing Bad Dads. So if, what father didn't know best, if you had a bad dad, who didn't? Oh, I did. But if you did, then you might want to take our course. We did a Bad Moms, and I think everybody really, really appreciated that one. They're intense, but they're really good. It's just about 2.5 hour seminar on a Saturday. So we still have some tickets left. And I'm also doing I have to look on the date. I'm doing the Jen Weigel show on November 4th, the day after the election. So she wanted me to come on her show the day after the election. So that is on my site. And I think there might be a couple tickets left, but I'm not sure. Okay. And Renee, I really want to thank you so much for everything today. And God bless everybody. This is going to be quite a few days. Quite a few days. Remember,
That's
connect to
true.
the higher self. Zen, calm. No reason to get insane here. And we all get through this. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.